Welcome to Corner 60 Seconds. It's that time of the week where we take you through the latest news in F1 and motorsports, and I'll also tell you what you can watch, where you can watch it, and what time to watch it here in the UK. We've got F1 back, Formula E back. There is plenty to see and do this weekend, so let's get into it. Right, first things first then, this is the car channel. Loads of new reviews on the channel. We've got the new Cherry Tiggo 4, we've got the Aeon V, we've got a new pickup truck on there, the Power, and the JQ8, which is the 7-seater JQ, all brand new videos on the channel. Definitely a few of those are worth your watch. We've got the Chang'an SO5 and SO7 coming on the channel next week. We've also got some more stuff on the Skywell, and we've got a Geely that's just arrived on the drive that we'll be talking about next week. So lots of new cars and lots of car videos coming. This is the current channel that you're watching now, PGF1 and Motorsport. We're going to be putting videos on here every week telling you all the latest news and of course breaking news when it happens, so please do make sure you're subscribed to both. Now let's talk about the news. So first of all, Formula E. Lucas di Grassi has announced his retirement at the end of the season. He's one of the most recognisable Formula E drivers, isn't he? So it'll be sad to see him go, but new blood has to come through, right? So he's been there a while, so almost not a surprise in some respects. Mitch Evans is leaving Jaguar and he will be going to Opel, which part of the Stellantis brands, you know, is Vauxhall in the UK. So he's going to Opel next year. The understanding is that reserve driver Stoffel van Dorn might come back and go into that Jaguar seat, but we will await an announcement. So into F1, Williams have announced a tie-up with Marvel that I'm particularly excited about. I think there's going to be a special edition comic book and all sorts. The collaboration will feature Williams drivers Alex and Carlos, along with team principal James Vowles, starring in a special one-shot comic in which they face off against Doctor Doom. And that, you know, looks absolutely incredible. So let's just hope we see like a proper comic livery. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So fingers crossed for that. I think I've got really high hopes for that being a super crossover, and maybe some really cool merch in there as well. That'll be good. Now, there were some tweaks to the rules that we talked about last week. My video on that is on the channel, so if you're not sure about the tweaks on the rules, I have made it super simple because the rules are ridiculously complicated, right? So I've made it super simple and concise, and I've put it on my last video, so make sure you go along and watch that. Norris, however, has said nothing really changes. It's not going to make any difference to the races. You've had, you know, Thursday media session in Miami, Lance Stroll has said, oh, it's still rubbish, the whole thing's terrible, I hate it. You've had Max Verstappen say, it's just a tickle to the rules. So opinion is going to be divided, right? We're going to see how it really plays out. And they've got a little bit of time, but it is a sprint race as well, so you may not get the full effect of anything that's been changed this week because they might just have not have had enough time to get used to the new changes. And, you know, all the cars have changed as well. What you've got to remember is these cars have been built to these regulations and are improving all the time. They've had 5 weeks to build and prepare upgrades as well. So it's not just the rules, it's the upgrades, the actual cars and the tech themselves are going to be very different in Miami. Now they're talking about rain. Yes, weather. We love talking about the weather here in the UK, mainly because it's always raining and it's a bank holiday weekend, so it's probably going to be raining here. But the one thing that is surprising is it's probably going to be raining in Miami too. So there is a bit of worry about how bad a wet race at Miami might be. There's also a lot of worry about potential lightning strikes, because that would mean spectator evacuation and possible delays, if not postponement of the whole race. It does look at the minute like the weather forecast is particularly bad for Sunday. We'll have to see how it goes and play it by ear, because I think there will have to be some contingencies in place. It might be that they have to run the race early in the day just to get it through. If it really looks that bad, you would think that the FIA and Formula One will be really keen to get the race happening, you know, just because there's been so long as well. And, you know, Miami is such a big partner And don't forget as well, Formula One themselves took a massive stake in making this race happen. So financially, after 5 weeks of no racing and then another 3 weeks of no racing after this, I think they really need this to happen. So let's see how it goes. But you know what weather's like. It can change. It can change very, very quickly. Now, because we're in Miami, there are some new liveries. Racing Bulls have got this yellow livery, which, if you squint, looks a bit like the old Jordan. It certainly caught my eye. I actually really like that. It'll be interesting to see how it looks on track, of course, but it really does look like a Jordan, doesn't it? And I really, really like it. I'm really keen on that. Cadillac have brought out a livery as well, and it's only a real slight tweak. If you look, they've got the USA flag on the back there. What else can we see? If we go back, yes, I agree. It just tapers in like a stars and stripes pattern down the back of the car, and it's no longer asymmetric, so it's the same on both sides. The only problem I have with this is it's such a new team that they haven't yet got their identity, so I'm not really sure about all of this. So, I'm not sure they should be doing it yet. They need to establish themselves. They need to get the brand known and seen. So, it looks good though. It looks good. The other team that has got a slight tweak is the Alpine has the yellow band back in because Franco Colapinto sponsors are back and paying some money. That's Mercado Libre, which I think is a bank of some description in Argentina. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the Argentinian dollars that they were waiting for. Right, then we've got on X, there is an interview with Stefano Domenicali talking about the war in the Middle East and how it's affecting Formula One. And there's a couple of ways to look at this. They have been talking about the potential disruption now to the end of the season, because if it's not going to end soon, then Qatar and Abu Dhabi are, of course, at risk. And then you come down to a 20 race season, which obviously isn't the end of the world, but Formula One would like to have backups in place. I know Silverstone were in the news. They were on Sky News and stuff yesterday saying, we've put our hat in the ring, that if a second race needs to be run, we can organise it here. And of course, there are other options as well. Portimao in Portugal, you could go to Turkey. There are a few European tracks that could host something at fairly short notice, I imagine. So there are potential possibilities that we wouldn't reduce to 20 races. But there are also things like oil prices. You're flying around the world, you've got hundreds of thousands of fans moving across the globe, and we're talking about jet fuel shortages and all that sort of stuff is all really, really important, because you might find that after this US leg, US, Canada, this North American leg, shall we say, we go back to Europe, and all the races in Europe, it might be prudent just to stay there, if this conflict continues, because with prices of oil and jet fuel going through the roof, there might be a struggle to get the show further abroad later in the year, and there's lots and lots to consider. It's an interesting interview. You may need to get it translated, but there's plenty to be interested about the global politics and how that actually plays a part in our sports. So let's look at the calendar. This is M Sport Extra's calendar. Please do make sure you follow M Sport Extra on X. All the latest news, anything in any motorsport, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, heck, even 3-wheel. Robin Reliant Races Dirt is there, and he is posting 24/7. So he has the calendar on his website. Things we've got coming up this weekend. So we've got F1 and F2 in Miami. You've got Formula E in Berlin. You've got IMSA at Laguna Seca, which is always a beautiful, beautiful place to race. Then you've got the World Superbikes as well. So World Superbikes you'll be able to watch on TNT Sports all throughout the weekend. You have got IMSA, which will be on YouTube. Then you've got the Formula E in Berlin, which is practice and qualifying usually on YouTube, and then the race, at least the race itself, live on ITV4. I believe it'll be on ITV4, but we'll go through the timings. So first of all, F1 is 5 p.m. for practice 1, and it's an hour and a half because of all the new rule changes. They wanted to give them a little bit longer because it's a sprint weekend, so that is the only practice session for the whole weekend. Sprint qualifying is at 9:30 p.m. and remember that has changed. It was 9, now it's 9:30 because of that extra half an hour in practice. On Saturday, you got the sprint race at 5 p.m. and then qualifying for the race proper at 9 p.m. and then lights out, away we go, 9 p.m. Sunday night, and that is UK timings, all on Sky Sports F1. If we flick this card over, Silverstone always post these every Grand Prix and it's great. Formula 2. Practice 1 on Friday is at 2:30, qualifying at 7:30. Saturday sprint is at 3 p.m. and race 2 on Sunday is 5:30 p.m. Then we're going to go to Formula E. Formula E timings, so Friday evening practice 3 p.m. Practice 2 is on Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. Qualifying 10:40 a.m. and then the race at 3:05 p.m. and exactly the same for race 2 on Sunday. So it's 2 different full day programs in Formula E, Saturday and Sunday. So there is absolutely plenty to watch, loads and loads of motorsport. Please do tell me in the comments below what you're looking forward to and of course who you think is gonna win in Miami, and do you think those rules are going to make any difference? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.